Okay, Saxon 4 math students, we're ready for lesson 50, adding and subtracting decimal numbers, part 2. We're going to warm up with some mental math. They suggest adding hundreds, then tens, and then ones. But you guys know that my little trick is I like to look at the tens first. So here we would have 80 plus 40, that's 120. Then 9 plus 6 is 15. So I'm thinking 120 plus 15. You got that? 135 plus 500 more, 635. Okay, let's try this one. You think 75 plus 25. You got that? Now 300 plus 400 plus what you got here, 800. With this one, this was really close to 200. Let's treat it like 200 and adjust at the end. So add on 200. Okay, got that? That'd be 589. Subtract 5, 584. Detrina paid $5.64 for a dog collar and $1.46 for a tag. Altogether, how much did Detrina spend? Okay, I used the same trick. Let's look at the cents first, okay? And I'm even just going to look at the tens. 60 and 40. Hey, that's a dollar. Put that in the back of your mind, okay? And then 4 and 6, that's 10 cents. So far with just my change, I have $1.10 plus 5, 610, plus another one, 710, $7.10. Jamel started reading his book at 2:25 p.m. and read for 45 minutes. At what time did he finish reading? Here's what I like to do here. I like to figure out how many more minutes till the next whole hour. So from 25 after, that's almost 2:30, okay? And 2:30 to 3 would be 30 minutes plus that 5. So just to get back to 3 o'clock, that would give us 35 minutes, okay? He needs to go for 10 more minutes, so that time would be 3:10 p.m. Measurement. There were 4 gallons of water in the bucket. How many quarts of water is that? Well, remember the big gallon house? And when you draw the windows that look like Q's, there are 4 in each gallon. So 4 times 4, 16 quarts. Geneva wants to buy a CD that costs $12.65 and a pair of headphones that costs $15.30. Round each price to the nearest 25 cents and then add to estimate the cost of the items. So $12.65, that's really close to 75 cents, isn't it? And 15.30, that's really close to 25. So if I take my cents first, which is my trick, and I take the 75 and 25, that'd be a dollar, right? So let's do the 15 and the 12 in your head, and then add a dollar. And ta-da, you've got it. Okay, here we go. Square root of 36 is 6 times 8 is 48 plus 40, 88. Pretend like this is 10, and then we would say 98 minus 1, 97, plus 10, 107, plus 5, 112. I like to break this apart into 10 and 5. Makes it easier. All right, choose an appropriate problem-solving strategy. Okay. Suni is making a sequence out of money. She lined up the bills shown below. Which money amounts can she use to extend the sequence to include 2 more terms? So she's got 100, 10, and 1. Gee, that sounds like place value to me, doesn't it to you? Hundreds, tens, and ones. And so if we had $111 and we extended that 2 places, we've already got our dollars. So this is what I'm thinking. I'm going to even put down what I saw, $111. Now it said to extend it 2 places. So what coin could I put here? For the tens, right? Okay, a dime, and this would stand for ones, so I would put a penny. And I will confess, I had to peek on this one. So dime and penny would be the next. Example 1, name the place value of the 3 in each number. So let's review place value real quickly. Let's get a new sheet. And it looks like, I'm not going to go very far out. The main part are decimals today. You already know ones, tens, hundreds, And then we could even go thousands, but let's focus on this side today, okay? What comes right after to the right of the decimal point, that's called tenths. See that TH? We've covered this before. Okay, the next spot is called hundredths with a TH. And the last spot, the third one over, is called thousandths. Okay, and I'm sure it can go farther, but in real life, this is what I've used the most often. I would think in certain careers you would need to go even smaller. So let's remember that when we look at these examples. We're looking at the number 3, 23, and we say and, where the decimal point is, 4 tenths. But this 3 is in the, if we've actually filled it in, 23, the 3 is in the ones place, correct? Now let's look at this one. Now they've changed it around a little bit. So let's refill this in. 2 and 34, and then I read this word, hundredths. Okay, you look at this together and just say 34, and then read the word that you know goes with that place value. But we're looking at the 3, and that is in the tenths place. Okay, now let's look at the next one, 32 and 4 tenths. And we're still looking at the 3, and what place is it in? The tens place. Okay, and one more, 4 and 23 hundredths. Four and 23 hundredths, and we're looking at the 3. The 3 in this case is in the hundredths place. So let's take a look. There you have it. Example 2, add 3 and 75 hundredths plus 12 and 5 tenths plus 2 and 47 hundredths. And the trick to this is to just line up your decimal points just like if you were doing money. Okay? Let's get a clean sheet here. 3.75, 12.5. And the third. Okay, I wanted us to add. You treat any spaces as if they were zeros. And so if you want to go ahead and fill them in, you can. Okay, 5 plus 7, we know that's 12. The trick is to look for sets of 10. And I know that 4 and that 1 is 5, plus 5 is 10, plus 7 is 17. Then I stop right then. Stop, drop, decimal point. Okay, I know 3 and 2 is 5, plus 1 is 6, 7, 8. And you would read this 18 and 72 hundredths. Okay, remember to say and when you make it to the decimal point. And they said treat an empty space like a 0. If you want to put a 0 as a placeholder, that is certainly fine. Now we're going to subtract. And again, any spaces, we treat them like what? Like zeros. 5 minus 0 is 5. Now 2 minus 5, that's a problem. We have to do some borrowing here. 12 minus 5, 7. Stop, drop, decimal point. 3 minus 2 is 1. And we read this 1 and 75 hundredths. Okay. Lesson practice. Which digit in 23 and 5 tenths is in the tenths place? That's to the right of the decimal point. It's the 5. Which digit in 245 and 67 hundredths is in the hundredths place? Ta-da! It's the 7. The 6 is in the tenths. The 7 is in the hundredths. Okay. Which digit in 12 and 5 tenths is in the same place as the 7 in 3 and 75 hundredths? Well, the 7 in this one is in the tenths. So in this one, it's the 5. Okay, find each sum or difference. We have to make sure we just line up the decimal points. So let's see if I can remember these. 4.35, 2.6. And that was addition, I do believe. And if you noticed, I said it to myself the incorrect way. I said 4.35 plus 2.6 should really say 4 and 35 hundredths plus 2 and 6 tenths. Okay, if you're going to be scientific about it, that's what you need to say. Okay, 5 plus 0 is 5, 6 and 3 is 9, decimal point 6. So we'd read this 6 and 95 hundredths. Okay. Okay, now it wants us to subtract those. And again, spaces or zeros. I like to fill them in. 5 minus 0 is still 5. Now, 3 minus 6 is a problem. We have to borrow. 13 minus 6 is 7. Stop, drop, decimal point. 3 minus 2 is 1. And we would read this 1 and 75 hundredths. Okay. And again, the important thing is keeping the decimal points lined up. Any spaces, if you want to put the 0, that's fine. 0 plus 5 is 5. 1 plus 2 is 3. Stop, drop, put your decimal point. 2 and 3 is 5. And bring down the 1, and we have 15 and 35 hundredths. And now 15.25. Filling in my spots. 5 minus 0 is 5. We have to borrow here. 12 minus 5 is 7. Stop, drop, decimal point. 4 minus 2 is 2. 1 minus nothing is still 1. 12 and 75 hundredths. Now, 75 hundredths plus 5 tenths. Okay, so you don't have to say 0 and. You can just say 75 hundredths. And here you can just say 5 tenths. You can also say 50 hundredths, but that's really not the best way to say it. Okay, 5 plus 0 is 5. 7 plus 5 is 12. Stop, drop, decimal point, and you have 1 and 25 hundredths. Now we're going to subtract 75 hundredths minus 7 tenths. I'm going to go ahead and fill in my 0. 5 minus 0 is 5. 7 minus 0 is 0. Stop, drop, decimal point. And you would read this just as 5 hundredths. Okay? Find the n in the equation n plus 1.5 equals 4.75. We're going to think about our fact families. Okay? I told you, little old fact families can really help you even when you get into complicated math. So n plus 1.2. I'm sorry, 1.5 equals 4.75. Let me double check. All right, so this is one fact in the fact family. Now I have to do commutative property of addition and say 1.5 plus n will also give me 4 and 75 hundredths. Okay, now I'm ready to do my two subtraction facts, and I know I have to start with the biggest number, which is always what it equals in addition. So let's start with 4 and 75 hundredths. Ooh, what a 5. Minus, then I could put n equals 1.5. Or 1 and 5 tenths. And the last one, 4.75. 4 and 75 hundredths minus 1 and 5 tenths equals n. This is the one that we can actually do. We don't know what n is, but we can do this math problem. So let's do it vertically. Okay, filling in the 0 there. 5 minus 0 is 5. 7 minus 5 is 2. Stop, drop, decimal point. 4 minus 1 is 3. So n equals 3 and 25 hundredths. How's that? And you are ready to check your work. So let's go back to 49 and hit pause as you check 1 through 7. Hit pause as you check 8 through 22. Hit pause as you check 23 through 29. And hit pause as you check 30, and then you'll be finished.